So, when you have a violin lesson coming up and you haven't really practiced, so you start to get really, really nervous? Well, that is exactly how I feel about this video. You've been wanting an update video about my violin progress. I'm here and I'm making it, so let's get into it. Okay, you guys, so here's the update. You probably saw me from my 1-year violin progress video or some of my YouTube shorts, and I didn't make a 2-year violin update video, which I can still totally do. I've got footage from year 2. After the 2-year mark, things got a little bit sparse for me in terms of regularity for practice. And that was because I stopped regular weekly lessons with my teacher. Like, violin teachers in general are going to be pricey because it's such a specific technique that takes, 9+ years to master or get really good at. And so once you get to a level where you can teach it, of course your prices need to reflect that. But I found that in my 1 year of learning classical guitar, my guitar teacher's prices were probably a quarter of the price of my violin teacher's weekly lessons. So it was much more accessible for me to do weekly lessons with a guitar teacher than it was to do weekly lessons with my violin teacher. So it sort of became like once a month at a certain point. And then I was doing simple fiddle in a show in March of 2024. And then again in November, December of 2024. And I got to play again in Prague. The show that was in November, December went to Prague for just 3 performances in February. So I got to pick it up and play again. First of all, I really, really want to shout out Anaya Singh, who left me the most wonderful comment. And I'm going to leave it here so you can see it. I am just so grateful for your comment. I still haven't responded to it, but I'll get to it right after I film this video. Just so sweet and kind to say that you love the video. So if anybody else is like resonating with the videos that I'm making, it's really going to help knowing that there are people out there that really want to see it and want to see progress and want to understand like where I am in my process. And I'm also going to ask your help from this video. So stay tuned for that. I think you guys can help me out a lot with some of my violin progress going forward. A quick break to plug my small business, TheatreVerse. I've got a few products here that I want to show you guys. So I make a bunch of products on my Etsy shop, and there are a bunch of candles available, and they are soy, eco-friendly, vegan candles. They smell amazing, and they don't give you a headache like regular candles that you'd buy at a store, so These smell amazing. Highly recommend these candles, and they're great to light in your apartment or your house, especially while you're practicing or while you're chilling out at home after a long day. Then I have affirmation card decks. There are a bunch of digital decks online as well that you can like download and print yourself, but I also offer hard copy decks. This is the rehearsal deck, and they are 30 affirmation cards for the rehearsing actor. So if you're in a show or you have a friend that's an actor and you want to gift them something, these do not exist anywhere else in the world. So you'll pull a card, or you'll have a friend pull a card before rehearsal, and it'll give you something to work on or think about. They're beautiful, designed by me, created by me. So if you have the chance to support TheatreVerse, please do. I also have happy practicing t-shirts that I'm so excited to share with you guys. Those are on the shop as well. And right now I have violin, classical guitar, and electric guitar out there. And if you need anything else, if you have another instrument that you're playing and you want a happy practicing t-shirt in that instrument, do let me know. But check them out in the Etsy shop, and thank you so much for your support. Regarding my specific progress, I felt like when I was regularly practicing, there were less mistakes being made in a general sense. So like string crossing, extra noises, squeaks, and being out of tune generally was improving because I was regularly making sure I was putting fingers to the strings, right? But then I feel like, and this is where you guys come in to help me out, moving forward, there are 2 major things that I want to get to goal-wise. And again, I'm working on my own. So what I'm thinking about doing is some live sessions where I go on YouTube Live and you guys get to give me feedback live while I practice. So let me know in the comments if that's something that you're interested in seeing. I think it would be really fun for us to kind of create a community and for you to give me your expertise and see how like I can implement that going forward. So one of the things I feel like I need improvement on is definitely intonation, and that is still a basic baseline technique to have, but I didn't work on scales initially with my teacher too much. And so I think I want to get a scales book or just some scales. So if there's anything online that I can get, or if you guys know of a really good scales book, please let me know, because I would love to start working on that to improve the regularity with which I practice, and also improve on my intonation just like as a baseline skill. Also, another goal of mine is I really want to learn how to do vibrato. And I know that that is sort of an intermediate advanced skill, something that a lot of times people learn like way down the line. But I would say, so it's like been 4 years since I started, but I feel like I'm at about 2.5 years in actually with practice. And so I know I'm sort of like beginner leaning intermediate at this point, but I know that that's a goal that I want to achieve. So that's something that I feel like the YouTube lives could be really helpful for, where you guys start to teach me how to do the vibrato correctly, and then I can implement that and start to learn, because I think it would just be really nice to have something that's fun that I really want to do myself and want to learn myself. That's going to help motivate me going forward with my practice sessions. Because right now, when I do the violin or really fiddle in shows, it's very simple. It's a simple melodic line, simple to execute, and there's a really short rehearsal process time. So I have to have it be really like a simple line that I can learn and practice every single day. And there's not a lot of time to get it right, because there's not a lot of time before there's an audience and people listening and watching you do it live. So I want to make sure that you guys know as well that I started the violin in 2020. So I am an adult learner. I had no experience learning any instrument up until that point, really, except for a semester of clarinet and a semester of saxophone in middle school before I moved to choir and singing and acting. And so my aspirations on the violin are more about being able to play in Shakespeare shows for Shakespeare festivals outside in the summertime. So it leans more fiddle than it does classical violin. The fiddle is kind of like more of the fun style. You're going to kind of dance along to it in a Shakespeare show. But I want to have some of the more technical skills there and established so that I can at least play some different repertoire. So I'm not looking to be a virtuoso of any kind or play with an orchestra or anything like that. That's just, not my skill set, not what I'm looking to do. I am first and foremost an actor, and I also do voiceover work. I am a singer, so I do musicals and Shakespeare and voiceovers. Music is something that I want to cultivate, but it's something that I really want to make sure stays fun for me. And if you're a violin student or you're in music school, you know that there are times when it just really, really feels like work. And I understand what that feels like. And I just don't have the interest with this instrument in particular to make it that way. I'm looking for it to be fun. And what you guys should know too is that I started this when COVID hit in 2020, and it really was a beautiful escape for me. It was something where I'd said, I really kind of wanted to learn this my whole life. And everyone said, no, it's too hard. You can't do it. And so when the world shut down and everyone was at home all the time, it was the best escape for me. It really was great to have my teacher over Zoom every week. And I was, I had nothing else really to do but to practice. And so it brought me a lot of joy. I loved seeing the growth. I didn't mind the squeaks and the bad sounds because I just knew that there was so much of a mountain to climb. And there still is for me. I'm just having trouble at this point maintaining the level of fun that I felt then, with acknowledging that like the higher you climb up the mountain of learning, the less fun there really is just in any process, because you're getting smaller and smaller and smaller as the technique kind of dials in, that it becomes more technical, more specific, more focus oriented. So you have to put all of your attention and energy into those little moments, or that 4-bar phrase, or that one singular bar, and just repeat, or like focus on one rhythm or one skill for a half hour. And that's your practice session. I think I'm shifting awareness to that being the necessity moving forward. Again, I'd love your help, you guys. So if anybody in the comments, please let me know. Just say hi first and foremost. And secondly, let me know if you would love to hop on lives to give me your advice from your skill set or see me practice. Also, like Ania or Naya Anya, I don't know how to say your name. I'm so sorry. If you are also enjoying the content, please let me know in the comments, because that's going to be helpful for me to know what you want to see moving forward. And I am happy to share more about my process and where I am. It's unfortunate that I can't say like, it's 2025 and I am now absolutely amazing, because I've been practicing since 2020 and then 4+ years into practicing. And I'm so good at what I'm doing, and I can't wait to share it with you. It's really not that. So I apologize. But like I said, it's not the forefront of my life. So it's totally just a hobby that I do when I want to, or if there's a show and I get to hop in with an ensemble and say, hey, let's create this piece of music. That is where I truly thrive. So it's an interesting journey to be a part of it, because I know a lot of you online are like, but I'm a student and I want you to be playing like all the classical pieces and be really good at it so I can get motivated from it. I totally understand. And I definitely want to be able to play classical pieces by myself. They're beautiful, and the violin is such an amazing instrument. So being able to develop a skill and not just watch videos of people do it amazingly, but also kind of feel like, hey, I can kind of do that kind of well myself, is such a prideful feeling and a wonderful feeling when you've accomplished something after hours and hours of work. So that is one of my goals. I do hope to get to a place where I can play something on the YouTube channel for you guys. So in order to get there, right now, the plan for me going forward is just to get back to a more regular schedule of practicing with set things to practice. And I am going to do that on my own, but I'd love your help if you want to hop on YouTube via the comments or on YouTube Lives, and we're going to move forward from there. So I'll share a clip of one of my practice sessions for the song that was in the show 12th Night, which was in November, December, and then again in Prague in February. I played that kind of on and off a little bit here and there between December and February, just to make sure that I still had the song accessible to me and I remembered how to play it. So I'll share that with you now. So as you can see, that is sort of where I am. It's like still very rudimentary, just getting the notes out. They're still not perfectly in tune all the time. Can't do vibrato, so I can't add that flavor. There's a lot to learn, and there's a lot that I still need to work on. So I'm being honest with you guys. That's what this is about. You can't bullshit something like that. I can't be like, yeah, I'm amazing, but then I can't show you a clip of me playing, right? That just doesn't work. So I'm here to let you know that is where I am right now, which means I'm stuck at a level. And I think that happens a lot with instruments. Well, and the way I describe it is there's so much to build at the very beginning, and then you reach this plateau and it gets really hard. You start to realize like, oh, I feel like there's some kind of breakthrough that's about to happen, but I don't know when it's going to happen. And the only way to reach that breakthrough is to handle this plateau where things just kind of feel like they're staying the same, and then still continue to practice. And then you finally have this little breakthrough where you bump up to level 2. And then you reach another plateau and the same thing happens. And then you bump up to another level 3. And so I think with the violin progress year 1 and year 2, year 1 was like this kind of a slope of an angle. It was like really intense. And then I hit a plateau. But because I was still practicing regularly, I moved beyond it. And then the level 2 angle sort of was like this. And so that's when you start to be like, oh, this is getting a little frustrating. I don't know if I can keep doing this. And then you start to realize, like, once you've gone past the plateau and you're in level 2, you realize all that level 2 has to offer in terms of what you can learn. But that becomes overwhelming because you're like, there's so many steps, so many things that I could get good at. Which one am I going to get good at? And I don't know where to go. So then that angle kind of goes like this. And so I think for me, it's like I sort of reached level 2 and I'm sort of on that level 2 plateau. In order to move on to level 3, I need, once again, consistency in my practice, which I don't have right now, to be honest with you guys, and focus on what I'm working on when I practice, and then an awareness of what level 3 entails in terms of what skills could be accessed once I get beyond this plateau. So let me know in the comments as well if you know what level 3 in my sort of analogy here, level 3 might entail for me. I do feel like vibrato is probably level 4. You can let me know if that's true or not. But I do want to work towards it. I think level 3 also is going to be consistency rhythmically, probably adding in some musicality. So that's going to be like working with the bow, pressure, speed, still just dialing in on coordination between the left and right hand. Those are my thoughts. I'm sure there's a lot more in level 3, in this level 3 in my analogy. Yeah, I think that's about it for this video. Please do let me know your thoughts, because I don't know any of you really, but I know there are over 6,000 subscribers out there that are interested in my videos, and I would love to get to know you and where you are in your journey, what your goals are, how I can help, because we all have different goals, but the cool part is if we're working on the same instrument or we're just creative people trying to learn a new skill in general, there's going to be a lot of similarities. Like I mentioned, like all of the learning processes, they're all the same. It's neuroscience, right? It's how our brain makes connections. It's how the synapses connect and the neurons fire and wire in order to develop a skill. And so we're all dealing with the same thing. We're all dealing with like how to stay motivated and how to structure our practice sessions, how to make practice sessions beneficial, how to stay focused when we're practicing. All of those things are good for any sort of art form, like whether you're a fine artist and you're painting or drawing, or you're learning guitar or learning violin, or you're singing, or you're writing a novel. It could be anything creative. So I'm interested in hearing where you guys are in your processes and what you need help with. And I'll share more about what I need help with as well, and we can do this together. So if you like this video, like and subscribe, and give me a comment down below, say hello, and let me know if you're interested in those YouTube lives or helping me learn how to do vibrato, or if you've got any insight into scales books. I would really, really appreciate your help, and I'm so glad that you're here. If you've stuck around this far, thank you so, so much. And as I end all of my videos, I will say to you, happy practicing.